assalamu alaikum, Jianu, Pakhair Ragale, Ni hao, Chunashumme, Washmale, Ohio Gonzaimas, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bonjour, Privyet, Kaifahal, Ahlan Wasalan, Marhaba, Hale Shama Chatore, and a very amazing good morning to everybody who's tuned into PT World and are watching World this morning alongside the very amazing Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. Hello Maha, how are you today?
Hello Shahzad, assalamu alaikum. I'm good today. I really enjoy, especially because I'm easing back into work, I really enjoy your hellos now. And I was thinking, I could actually even come in later while you do it, because I can also learn them off
Yeah, I think we'll pretty much do that too as well, or we can even take turns that one day, you open the show and then I probably come in walking or probably just show up from the back of the couch as well. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, the day is Thursday. The weather over here in Islamabad is quite sunny. And yes, I just feel like sticking back home because I really do not want my arms to be black.
Okay.
What about you? Do you put on sunscreen and all of
I
these
wear
things?
sunscreen, but not to avoid a tan because I don't have these complexes.
Because I've
about
never
the
ever
color of my
seen you
skin.
wearing half sleeves, so it's probably because of that.
Yeah, well, I wear half sleeves.
Well,
So I wear less than half sleeves.
Well, this is what we decided that today, we are going to be very lively as well. Even though that the topic we're going to discuss is of immense importance,
Yes.
but we are going to try cracking a few jokes in
Exactly, we're going to keep it interesting because, when you give too much information, and we've been doing this show a bit to kind of give you a preemptive strike as well against this issue, but also now we're in the midst of it. We also want to give you information, but also not send you to sleep as well.
Exactly, and this week, ladies and gentlemen, of the April is actually dedicated towards all of those health issues too as well. So this is why we keep on bringing all of those problems which are still prevalent and are very relative to the season.
Absolutely. I did notice since I've been back, we've done a lot on health. We're really looking after ourselves on this show. So that's
I don't
very
know
good.
whether you realize it or not, but health is indeed wealth.
Absolutely.
But right now, I think what we need to do is that we need to move on towards our top stories.
Yes.
Go ahead, take a look at what's new in the world.
Facebook chief Mark Zuckerberg accepted personal responsibility for the leak of data on tens of millions of its users, while warning of an arms race against Russian disinformation during a high-stakes face-to-face with U.S. lawmakers.
And I've even heard that, they've even helped Trump during his elections. Well, I'm not sure about this news.
Well, no, that's what the company that used it was a Cambridge Data Analytica.
Yeah.
They took that information and they used their campaigns by...
So the Trump's consultant organization actually took it.
They will, yes.
This is what I read.
That's what they say. Social media helped him win.
All right. So Masazo Nonaka, a 112 years old man in Japan's northernmost Hokkaido, was recognized as the oldest man living by the Guinness World Records in a ceremony joined by families and local officials. Ma, how long do you think you're going to live?
I don't think very long. I don't have to.
Well, probably. I mean, 112 years is like a complete century, and then moving into. I mean, he must have seen so many other transformations.
Absolutely.
Just not just in technology, but in infrastructure development,
society,
schooling.
Okay, moving on. Zimbabwe cricket will host Australia and Pakistan in July for a T20 international triangular tournament, and then Pakistan for 5 one-day internationals.
Yeah, that'll be cool, but who's going to wait till July?
It's not that far.
All right, so intermittent rain continued in upper parts of country, including Rawalpindi, Islamabad, as Met Office predicted more rain at isolated places in upper parts today. Yay, that's cool. And Maha thinks that, she's actually the god of rain and she brought rain back from England. Because it rains too much in England as well, anyways.
Well, when I landed, it rained, and it wasn't raining before that, so I just made that kind of inference.
So now when you sleep, it's not raining, and when you wake up, it's raining?
Well, it's
I mean, we need to connect that to at least one of your activities.
Well, I don't know. My sleep is all over the place, so I think when I'm awake, it rains.
Yeah, that's cool. But, other than that, rains are very cool, ladies and gentlemen, because they keep you healthy. And for all of those allergies roaming around in the air, they kind of settle down.
Well, for most people, they settle it down. Let's see if what other effects that rain has as well. Because for me, I feel like it actually triggers, like my allergies. I start sneezing, my eyes start watering. But today, we will be discussing what allergies are out there, what the symptoms are, what other preventative measures apart from medicine are there. And within Pakistan, which areas are suffering the most? Because we know in Islamabad, it's one of the capital for allergies because of the different types of trees we have.
Yeah, exactly. And then at the same time, quite a lot of times whenever, we have got watery eyes or, it's hard to breathe or probably, we have a running nose all we say is that, we have got flu. But that's not how it is, because we do not even have a habit of getting ourselves checked up. And we are so inclined towards home remedies that our mother's actually going to make us green tea and put some adrak in it or whatnot. And
It works. Those
it,
things
it
work.
does work, but flu
Have faith.
is always going to take 5 or 6 days. But that's not what the point is.
Yeah.
It's not always flu. It can be any other allergy too as well. So this is what we need to do. We need to get ourselves checked up and talk. Since you said that Islamabad is actually capital of allergies too as well, it's because of the trees we have around. And probably it's the mulberry paper tree as well, which kind of adds on to that. But even other than that, pollen allergy is one of those allergies which can give you a few more other allergies too as well.
Yeah,
Just related to that. I mean, sinus, and it just gets worse.
at the moment, my eyes are running and my nose is running, so I actually haven't taken my medicine today, so I realized that just now. But let's introduce to our guest and get the conversation and see what's out there and what's happening.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, on my right-hand side, we have been joined by DG Health Islamabad region. He's none other than Dr. Hassan Aruj. Hello, assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum assalam and good morning to everybody. I don't know how many languages you speak actually. So
Well, it's just the hellos and highs in all of these languages.
The
impressed.
most important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
But thank you very much for joining us once again. Thank you very much. And yeah, you want to
No, you
proceed
are.
or I want to proceed? Okay, I will proceed, ladies and gentlemen, over here. So he's consultant internal medicine. He's a pulmonologist himself. He's none other than Dr. Shazal Manzoor. Hello, assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Thank you very much. And Maha, you need to see a very good pulmonologist.
Yeah, I do. I think I'm going to get my treatment done on air as well today. But let's get
What
the...
do you think about your own self? Are you a good
I'm
pulmonologist?
fine. I'm
Well, he's
fine.
on the show.
I'm fine.
That's good.
he's a good pulmonologist.
Very
I can,
nice. Alhamdulillah.
Aruj will second that.
Okay, well, one would hope so. You guys are here to tell us information about it. Okay, so actually, let's start from that. That's a perfect way to start. Pulmonologist, what are you there to help us with?
With allergies that you
Okay.
have talked about. And allergies include all those, starting from your eyes, nose, throat, and then going to your lungs or
Okay.
the windpipes. So asthma, or you call it pollen allergies
Okay.
and those kind of.
Okay,
Excellent.
so let's get started with that. So I'm still not sure whether it's summer or spring. So we're somewhere lurking in between. But other than that, all of those allergies which are related to this season. Let's talk about them first of all.
thank you very much. I think every spring we come across these types of allergies and these types of programs also.
Yeah.
So
Only on PDV World.
you are the lead actually, to
Thank
be
you
very
very much.
honest. Whenever the weather changes, especially in March and April, we have so beautiful flowers, and trees blown up everywhere. But on the other hand, we have people suffering from, you have just mentioned, watering eyes and itching nose and gums, and sometimes if it is a bit more extensive, it traces down to lungs. So this is the type of extra reaction which somebody's body has. This is known as a hyperimmunity reaction. So the nature has produced a balance. Whenever there's a disturbance of balance in certain human beings, and this is actually an immune reaction.
Yeah.
This is not bad, because this is a normal reaction inside the body.
But it's hyper?
But when it exaggerates in certain people, so it manifests, gives symptoms of allergy.
Okay, so now these symptoms that we're talking about, if I move on to Dr. Shazil, what are we looking at? We already mentioned
We have-
watery eyes.
You can have watery eyes, itchy eyes, red eyes, and then you go to your, nose. So you'll have runny nose, itchy nose, and sneezing,
Right.
and then starting from throat down to your windpipes, basically cough, and you'll have wheezing, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing.
Okay.
So that's, as Aruj has mentioned, that's the worst thing that you will have, or
Right.
somebody would have. So mostly people suffer from rhinoconjunctivitis. Rhino means your nose rhino,
Okay.
and the conjunctiva is your
Eyes.
eyes, the white part of it. So they get allergic because of the exposure to pollen, and pollen are basically the particles from trees, grass, and plants.
Okay.
Or so they basically these are the male particles, very small particles, and they get suspended into the air in spring. So they can cause these allergies.
Okay, and just before Shazad has the next question, but is that linked with the sinuses and
Yeah,
all
the
these
rhino
things?
is the sinus, or
Okay.
is the nose, then the nostrils, and then the sinuses are basically your drainage system.
Right.
Back in your, behind your face and your,
Yeah.
so that's sinus.
Well,
Right.
today what I want my viewers to understand it, because to me the
Your
word
viewers.
allergy itself sounds like a glitch. Because whatever happens to you, we just label it with the name allergy.
That's true.
Now, what is allergy actually, and can allergies vary from individuals to individual, or probably their genes, or the way they are?
I think Aruj has very well mentioned. Basically, allergy means something, or allergen means something that your body does not like.
Okay.
See, if you're exposed to smoke and you start coughing, that's an allergic response to that smoke.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, that these particles, the pollen, we'll mention pollen because this is season, as you mentioned, it, spring season. So the pollen, because of the pollen, people get this allergic response,
Yeah.
and it's an hyper immune response, as Aruj had mentioned. And because of that allergic response, you will have all those symptoms. So we have allergies, but you have to define allergies. Allergies can be because of pollen season. It can be a change of weather. If you are going from summer to winter, or winter to summer, or climatic changes. Even if you go to different other cities or other part of the world, as she has gone to London. So people can get those kind of allergies also. So you can have again the same symptoms, but you'll be an allergic patient, but the allergies can be because of some other factors.
Okay, so
also.
there are
It's
different
not just-
triggers.
It's not
Yeah,
just
that's
pollen.
true.
It's
So I
not
think
just pollen.
we can even label people whom we do not like as allergens or allergies to
Yeah, because,
so that'll
yeah,
be
because
easy.
people come to us in the
Yeah.
clinic, and not in the spring, and later they said we have pollen allergies, so you don't see pollen at that time. So it's a misconception.
Yeah, because I suffer from allergies all year round. So I have a mixture of pollen and then also the dust and
Yeah.
the
So,
pollution.
yeah.
And just add
Yes,
that,
please.
there's a psychological allergy that you're talking about. You could be allergic to a person.
Yeah.
But besides that,
Yeah.
actually, as Dr. Shazli has also mentioned, it's not only pollen. You could be allergic to any food.
Yep.
You could be
Okay.
allergic to any clothes.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember my younger brother, now he's a neuropsychiatrist in New Jersey. He bought a new kosa, the traditional.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was a lot of guests in my drawing room, and he came in, and suddenly he started having swelling of the face and
Wow.
redness, and we have to rush to the emergency to get some anti-allergic and all those sort of treatment. So you could be allergic to anything which touches your body or enters your body,
Right.
as Dr. Shazli has mentioned. And this is a normal reaction whenever a foreign body enters into your system. The body reacts.
It's
But
protecting you and
it's nothing. It's,
capacity.
new, it's a built-in. It's a good reaction.
Okay.
But the issue is people who are allergic to certain things. In these people, this reaction is hyper-exaggerated.
Okay,
Okay.
and this is what I wanted to know. So for all of these allergies which people get, is it by birth, or you develop them by certain
the genetic
age
element.
limit? Is it genetic? What is it?
He would explain it in more detail, but I would just, in very short, I'll tell you, this both types. It runs in the families, and you also acquire that. But basically, the ingredient is within your body. And for example, if somebody is living in Japan, is all right, but as he moves to Islamabad, the capital of allergy, his body might react to the pollens which are in the atmosphere, which were not in Japan.
Okay. Interesting.
So this is basically, so it's both types.
Okay. Yeah, because I developed my allergies when I was 19. I didn't have
Really?
them before that. No.
And you got yourself checked up for your allergies too as well. There's this
Perfect.
testing system. You go give them your blood, and they will tell you over
And-
here.
yeah.
we don't do
But
that.
basically, it is
That was the next
genetically
question, yeah.
determined also, and Dr. Shazli would put more
That
of
was
his
what I was
experience.
actually leading up to next, and Sirzad
Yeah,
mentioned
so
it
Dr.
perfectly.
Shazli, how many times do you do it? For example, somebody comes in, they say that we have got flu or an allergy. Do you get them tested for their allergies?
And what tests are there out there?
Okay, basically allergies are more if you try to get their symptoms and know when they develop their allergies. So there are no specific tests as such, but yes, people who have specific allergies, and if you want to treat them specifically, for that allergies, then you can do testing, which is basically we do the skin test, and but there is no allergy blood test or anything. Now they are coming up with blood tests. It's the same as a skin test, and basically it's against all the allergens that are outside. Allergens mean the particles or anything which the person can be allergic.
Okay, but the thing is, sorry, before
That's all right.
we move on from that, I want to ask that because some people have severe, like you mentioned, your brother-in-law, he got allergic to the custards.
His younger brother.
Your younger brother. Sorry, your younger brother. Sorry. So he was allergic to it. So that's a severe allergy. It could be fatal for a lot
It
of
can be
people.
fatal.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I mean, like you said, that you have the skin prick test as well. But then, I mean, how can we make sure that people aren't putting themselves at risk and kind of going to
And
lose their lives?
adding on to
Yeah,
that, for example, you know, we do know that in life people are even allergic to aspirin or, you know, other medicines too
Penicillin.
as well. So we do have tests for that. But over here in Pakistan, what happens is once we take that medicine and that's the time
That's
when
how
we
I
get to
found
know, okay, you know, something's happening to me. What did I do? Okay, you took the wrong medicine.
Yeah.
Usually from childhood, infancy, people know that they were allergic to penicillins. And Aruj has already mentioned that, you know, there are two kinds of allergic patients. One, they are born with allergies. And so they will have allergic symptoms since their infancy. So they will born and, you know, patient will come with their, you know, young ones and they'll say, you know, they're having problems breathing and all that. And the other ones are that they develop later in their life, allergies, as Maha has. So there's a different. So mostly people who are born with allergies, they are more genetically, they have genes that they carried.
Okay.
And people who were later became allergic, they are basically, they were exposed to that environment, or
Okay.
their immune system was not that good. So they got the allergies later on in their life.
Okay.
So basically, it's both the ends.
Okay, so you just have to be careful and manage it. And with that, as Shazad mentioned in the introduction, that we have a video of all the plants that give a really high pollen count, and let's go take a look.
So oak, mulberry, and all of
Elm.
these, yeah, and all of these trees, ladies and gentlemen, add on to the pollen count too as well, and aren't really very good to have in your backyard. And that's what it is. And now what we're going to do is that we are going to move on to Dr. Hassan Arooj. He's going to let us know about the pollen count over here in Islamabad, and these figures are from yesterday.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And
sir.
it's just for Islamabad, these figures.
Yeah, these are for Islamabad. Thank you very
Perfect.
much. I mean, this is very important because people should know where the pollen count is high.
Yes.
So it is divided into two dimensions. One is the areas, other is the type of pollen allergy, type of plant which could cause pollen allergy.
Excellent.
Because it is not paper mulberry only, let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Okay.
There are 8 other things. Let me tell you, it is acacia, eucalyptus, pines, grasses, cannabis, dandelion, and telnaria.
Okay.
So, but the highest is true paper mulberry.
Yes.
Okay, so this has been pulled for, this data is pulled for yesterday. It has been divided into 4 sectors, which are the highest reporting sectors in Islamabad, E8, F10, G6, and H8.
All right, people. So if
Wait,
you're
wait, say
living
that
over
again?
there, you need to buy a new house. Yeah.
So paper mulberry, for example, in E8 was 355. This is pollen count per cubic meter.
Okay.
In a meter, they count it like that.
That's quite a lot.
F10 to 32, G6 270, and H8 1220.
Oh my God.
Wow.
4. So you see, I mean the differentiation. What does it show? It shows the amount of pollens present there and the amount of trees still there,
Okay.
which are causing allergy to the
But
people.
I mean, but that's then you have that catch-22 because you need the trees because they're good for the environment, but then they're causing us.
This is true, but you don't need trees which cause allergy.
Yeah.
This goes back to about 1962 when the Islamabad was being founded,
Yeah.
and trees were imported here probably from China, and paper mulberry to make it more green, and that was a wrong strategic
Well,
mistake.
yeah, because it seems there was no research done into that. So.
Yeah, I think that was done in good faith.
Yeah.
But probably there was not much advancement in
That's true.
environmental issues
Yeah.
and all
So
that.
H8, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, is an industrial area over here in Islamabad. So please just avoid going over there. What would you go there for?
But if you live there,
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't
Yeah.
be-
avoid if your children study in the schools
Yeah.
which are in the
Okay,
H8.
so now this is for Islamabad. Now let's move on to the rest of Pakistan as well, because it's not just people in Islamabad that are suffering from the allergies. Dr. Shazil, for Lahore and Karachi, what kind of allergies are we looking at, and what are the triggers there?
This season, again, it's mostly in Lahore. I think it would be trees, grass, weeds kind of allergies, not like ours, because they also produce pollen.
Right.
So they have their own pollen, high pollen count during this time of the year. And as Arooj has mentioned, that there are a lot of other plants that can cause high pollen or allergy. You can become allergic to those other plants. So in Karachi, if you go, this is turned into a hot, humid weather now. So humid climate can also trigger the allergies. So it's not just the pollen.
Okay, I want to do it provincially. I don't want to do it city-wise. So let's start from Sindh, because geographically they are on certain locations where they've got the C2 as well, and then there's less plantation. And if we come down to Balochistan, it's barren deserts too as well. So
sand.
let's start from Sindh, come down to Balochistan, then Punjab, then KPK, and then Gilgit-Baltistan.
It's I think it's saying that if you go to the desert area, Balochistan, it's the dust, and with the with wind over there, it's an open area, so it's mostly desert. So the wind blows, and it carries the dust, and you can inhale dust, and you can have all these allergic symptoms. A lot of people, a lot of my patients, they also come from Dubai, from Middle East, and they have those allergies of dust. So dust also accumulates, and as we say that we have dust particles at our in our house or in our homes, and we are allergic to dust. The same thing over there.
Okay.
So if you go to Sindh and other parts, yes, there are less tree plantation. Pollution is another big factor. If you go to Karachi, as said, it's basically the same thing. As I mentioned, a humid climate, and lot of. I would say now, I believe that we always put fingers on pollen and these trees and all that. But if you look at our country, you know, it's a lot of urbanization, a lot of modernization, a lot of buildings and plazas, and, you know, we are just digging everything.
developed, yeah.
So we are disturbing our ecosystem, we are disturbing our environment. And this is what is called a global change in the environment, or the warming, or whatever you can call it. So we ourselves are bringing in a lot of allergies. See, when we came to Islamabad, you know, used to have wind, you know, so because there was cross wind used to blow. Now you have buildings over here, here, here. So
And I've got a perfect solution for that.
There's no pre-planning anymore. That's very
No,
true.
I've got a perfect solution for that.
What
Because,
is
you
it?
know, every night when I go out for a late night drive, I know that patch where you actually get the crosswind. So, for example, if you're going towards E11 from Magla Road, cross the F10 roundabout, roll down your windows, because on the both sides you get trees, and it's cold breeze too as well, and you can feel it. But even other than that, over here, we people do not even concentrate on being gentlemen or being very nice. Because what we do is, for God forbid, if we have cold, you know, we just feel embarrassed as if somebody, you know, was shaking his or her hand, and we just, you know, do it. Even though we had cold, or earlier we were sneezing or we're doing whatever, our hands are dirty, and we give that cold as a gift to somebody else. Because, you know, the proper way to sneeze, ladies and gentlemen, is to actually put
Elbow.
do it like this, so that you don't touch anyone. And even when you have cold, just don't hug anybody, don't kiss anybody, because it just goes to the other person with
Yeah.
lower immunity. So what do you say about that?
A very important social point,
Yeah.
basically. This is very important, especially in our society, because people don't care what will happen to the other person. Even in traffic, you see the same
So let's not
culture.
even get started on that. It was a traumatic
so
day.
you see, there's another very important point which we were discussing in the break. What is the difference between common cold and allergy? So the common cold is not in the spring season. It is not seasonal. It is mostly in winters. Allergies are in the spring season, and it could also be in another season, but mostly when the change of the weather and the pollens are suspended, and there's a lot of dust storms, etc. Secondly, common cold is a viral infection, so it may last from 3-4 days to 14 days and self-limiting. It is accompanied with fever and other symptoms as well. Allergy is non-viral, and allergies are caused by the environmental pollutions and all that, environmental allergens present. And it's a person's individual reaction. It cannot be transferred from one person to another.
Okay.
Common cold is transferred from one person to another. And also there's a history in common cold that this person has met someone who was coughing, or who has hugged him, or you see, whatever you were mentioning. But allergies don't have the history. It is the individual reaction.
Yeah.
So these are the major signs. Other things could be common, I mean, watering of the eyes, but these are the major differences between the two.
Okay, perfect. And it's really good to know, because we do like to just say, oh, you want to catch something. You know, you're not going to. But I wanted to ask that when people are taking too much antibiotics, so over here it's like over-the-counter type, you know, people get a cold, like Shazad said, people get a cold, they pop these all winter long, they're self-medicating. Does this affect people's kind of tendency, or them becoming more prone to reacting to the environment because they're weakening their immune system?
See, there are two kinds of patients. They're pure allergic patients, so they don't need antibiotics. Until as you
No, that's not what I'm saying. Well, my point is that because we like to, you know, if we get a cold, we'll take antibiotics. If we get a flu, you know, without actually checking with the professional that should we be taking it. There's, you know, the culture of taking antibiotics is much stronger in certain areas. So does that affect the tendency of someone to develop allergies later on in life? Is my point.
No, because they're already allergic. So
Okay.
cold, if somebody is getting cold and flu, you know, so their kind of immune system is not good. Usually people get over with their cold or flu within a couple of days. So if it lingers on, that shows that they're allergic.
Okay.
So that's why they take medicine. And if your cold persists for more than 3 days, then because colds are usually brought in by viruses. It's change of weather, and viruses, they shift and they bring in infection or the cold symptom. So if that doesn't go away in 3-4 days, then, you know, it's basically.
So, Dr. Hassan Rooj, you're the DG Islamabad region. I'm sorry that I'm putting you under the spot, but as a matter of fact, you know, with the advent, or in fact, you know, when this season comes in, I think it's your responsibility or the responsibility of your department to spread more and more awareness about the prevalent allergies within the capital of allergy. That's what we're talking about. So what steps have been taken to let people know that, be aware of this? And, you have actually brought in inhalers and masks too as well. So tell us what precaution measures can be taken.
I'm used to being on the spot. So it's my duty. You know.
Yeah.
2-3 things which we do before the season starts. I'm directly responsible for about 13 clinics in Islamabad, and the rest of the hospitals, I'm not directly responsible for them, but we do communicate on professional basis for any site of epidemic, whether it is dengue or pollen allergy or Congo virus, whatever. So we write to all the hospitals that they must be prepared. Their emergencies must be prepared with all those anti-allergic medicines, any type of emergency which could be caused by an allergy. 13 clinics, we equip them with extra medicines and inhalers and nebulizers for the allergy. The most important point is health education and awareness creation.
Yes.
By virtue of the programs such as yours, and I always say that PTV World takes the lead.
Thank you.
We talk to the public. We give messages through the newspaper as well as through the print and electronic media.
Great.
In addition to that, we have certain pamphlets, and other hospitals do have pamphlets to explain how can you avoid being exposed to very high reaction of allergy. Because if you're allergic, you're allergic. Your body will react, but how can you minimize that reaction from within yourself? And that is very important. The use of mask and prohibit yourself as much as possible, but you have to go for work, you have to go, your children have to go to schools and all that. You have to go out. How to prevent, put your mask, and it should be wet mask rather than a dry mask, because
really?
that holds the allergens, that holds the pollens.
Right.
The wet mask.
Okay.
So if in emergency you don't have a mask, put a rumal or handkerchief on the nose. So and your rooms must be airtight, because it is a matter of coming across, to the pollens. As much as you reduce this connection, this interaction, the reaction decreases.
Okay, but now, Dr. Shazal, then how are we, someone who's suffering from allergies, how are they supposed to get fresh air and, keep the kind of fresh oxygen going through their body if they're supposed to be in an airtight room and kind of avoid such exposure?
Usually, it's an important question actually, because it affects your day-to-day life.
Absolutely.
And as you said, this is a major health problem. Considering other problems major to like TB, pneumonias, and cancer, but it affects your day-to-day life activities, your work, school you'll be absent from school, kids will be absent, you'll go to the emergency departments off and on, you go to the doctor's clinic. So definitely it will cause problem for your day-to-day life, and quality of life will suffer. As you mentioned, you can take some preventive measures, and you can still do a lot of things, or regular things that you can do. And Aruj has mentioned some of them, but the pollen count usually rises early morning, and then it goes down as the near sunset or after midday, the count goes down. So you can go to your office, your wherever you work, your school, wearing a mask, as said, and to add on that, you can put a little bit of glycerine in your nostrils, mask, or olive oil, and you can go to your work, just drive in, go to your place, and then come and sit in your car, and with closed windows. And in the evening, you can go out and you can walk, you can do whatever want to do, shopping or grocery and all.
Now I've got two questions. That is that within the hospitals and different clinics, whenever we go, we see these big banners which state that get yourself injected with the flu vaccine or these other vaccines for the allergies. Whether are they potent enough? Do they do the job? Is it healthy? And the second one is that you were talking about masks. So we used to have those disposable masks, which every doctor, every person wears. But now I've seen that people have started to make these commercial masks, which you can use again and again after the wash too. But over here, I know what the hygienic conditions are. Do you think it's too bad to use the same mask every day and it might get you in trouble?
Medically speaking, no.
Okay.
You should use the disposable masks. Because and also there's a tendency of exchanging your gloves and towel and mask, which is actually a potent vehicle to transfer germs from one person to another.
Yeah.
So and the
Exactly.
mask, which is which is very close to your breath and very close to your body, that should never be exchanged.
Oh gosh, that
And
sounds
even
awful.
for yourself, disposable masks are not very expensive.
Yeah.
So this should be really taken into account, that masks should be disposable.
Now the
Okay.
vaccines.
Vaccines, I would put light on it, and then Dr. Shazli. Vaccines are, I must say, vaccines are a miracle. Especially, you must have heard of EPI, Expanded Program of Immunization. In allergies, also, the vaccines are being made. They are developed. They are vaccines which are developed according to your individual sensitivities, and they do help people. But my experience is that people, even who have been vaccinated in their life, they again get allergic reactions later on in their life.
So yeah, so basically, is there a cure?
Exactly. And you were talking about the flu. Flu is again a viral infection. So there's a flu shot, there's a flu vaccine, which has to be repeated every year, because the virus changes its genome every year.
Okay.
So do we have
That's
to
a separate-
time it? Do we have to time it like, okay,
Yes,
this?
before the winters.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
right. The flu vaccine.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Shazlo, so what about these vaccinations for
The-
allergies?
Yeah,
And
very important actually issue, because a lot of people are afraid of getting these injections.
I didn't even know there was.
There are two kind of
Okay.
vaccines or injections. One is a flu shot, as Aruj has mentioned, and everybody should get it. That starts from October or November. It comes from definitely out of Pakistan. So we should get those. The reason I'm telling you this is that this year there was an epidemic of influenza.
Yes.
And I don't consider pollen a major health hazard now, and I'll mention it that it has gone down actually. The people who used to visit clinics, thanks to you guys, and thanks to him, and I would also like to thank the ICT administration,
Absolutely.
the Chief Commissioner, and the DHO, the District Health Officer, has done a lot of things on. Basically, it's the awareness that you're doing, and it helps people. People are not leaving cities now.
Exactly.
So, so there are two kind of vaccine, and this year last year there was an epidemic of influenza. There were a lot of deaths in United States, and in decades they have not seen this kind of infection, and people died. With pollen, people, they don't die. There's a misconception that they die of asthma within 30 minutes. There's no such thing as that. So if you control it, if you go to your doctor, that will be controlled. But influenza does kill you.
Yeah.
It kills it kills pediatric groups, the younger ones, and it kills the older one. So this year it was an epidemic. So everybody should get a flu shot.
Right.
And in winters, before the start of winters, and then there's another vaccination, which is a misnomer.
Okay.
It's not a vaccination; it's a desensitization program.
Right.
See, if you have an allergy to penicillin, and you need penicillin, we want to give you for some condition. So they inject, starting from a low dose of that penicillin into your body.
Okay.
So the immune system will get used to it, and it will accept that penicillin. And so it's the same thing with allergic vaccine. If somebody is allergic to dust or to pollen, and if they are not, again I'll repeat it, if they are not getting better with other treatments,
Yeah.
if their condition is severe, then you will vaccinate, then you will give them desensitization program.
Okay.
And that will be after pollen season, not when they are symptomatic.
Okay.
And they should not be started right away.
Right.
Just
Take
one
some.
important point I would like to add on is that this flu shot, the people who are at most risk are the children and the old people, especially the old people. The deaths in United States, which Dr. Shazli has just mentioned, was elderly deaths. And the influenza, whenever there's an epidemic, people are more vulnerable who have less resistance. So through this program, I think we should give a message that older people, 65 plus, they must get flu shots. I mean, they can't afford not having that, because if there's an epidemic, they'll suffer from pneumonia, flu to pneumonia to very bad lung failure.
Okay.
And also at the end, is it at the end or?
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes,
this
please.
is-
I would
this is-
just like to very quickly show that
Yes,
this
please.
is the inhaler, which normally people use and the pulmonologists refer to. And this during the allergy season, if the allergy symptoms goes to the lungs. But this is a very important thing, which is known as an optihaler device. Okay. This is optihaler. Why we use it? Because during the inhaler, this pressure might get out from your mouth and from the nose. The optihaler device, you put it in the mouth, and actually the best way is to pinch the nose as well. So it ensures that all the ingredients are going directly to the mouth and the lungs.
Okay, perfect. So that is an optihaler.
Optihaler device.
Is the device. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much for being here.
You're
It's been an
welcome.
absolute pleasure, and it's been very informative. Thank you so much.
Exactly. But then
but
at the same time,
yeah.
yeah, you want to
No,
add?
no, you go
Yeah,
first,
but
no.
then at the same time, ladies and gentlemen, since we were done talking about